She was just a gate attendant, then a SEAL commander discovered her incredible potential. Mia stared out at the stormy skies draping the airport in a steely gray. She'd been just a gate attendant for too long, a job that felt like a heavy shackle, keeping her from soaring high. At 36, she felt the weight of the world pressed down on her shoulders. Single-handedly raising her teenage daughter, Grace, made every day a jigsaw puzzle, with lingering pieces threatening to scatter every time she sought more for herself. Just a gate attendant, they'd say. She was tired of the whispers, the judgments that stung like bee stings. But today, those stormy clouds ushered in an unexpected visitor, a retired Navy SEAL commander named Jack. As the winds howled outside, he stumbled into the terminal, drenched and visibly unsettled. Their eyes met, and she caught a glimpse of the resignation he carried too. During the lull between storms, Mia and Jack struck up an unexpected conversation, sharing memories like treasures unearthed from their pasts. "Balancing my ambitions while keeping Grace grounded is harder than I thought," Mia admitted, her voice barely breaking through the clamor of raindrops on the roof. Jack listened with rapt attention, nodding with understanding. "You've got grit, Mia. Sometimes it takes someone else to help you see your potential." For the first time, warmth bubbled in her chest, igniting a flicker of hope she thought had gone cold. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." Weeks passed and, emboldened by Jack's encouragement, Mia stepped boldly into the realm of community service, giving her time to help others, igniting a spirit of change within her. Recognition began to bloom, like wildflowers after a rain. Yet with every step she took, Grace felt the distance grow. "You're not even here anymore, Mom," Grace shouted one evening, anger betraying her fear. "You're chasing some dream that doesn't even belong to us." Their relationship frayed, emotions seething like the stormy skies outside. But just when Mia caught a breath, a natural disaster struck. The flooding left families devastated, their faces pale with despair. For Mia, this was her moment to rise, to be the glue binding her town back together, and as the winds raged louder, she stood trembling on the brink of defiance. Should she fight for a better tomorrow or stay tethered to Grace's fear? Their hearts hung heavy. The storm passed, leaving behind a wreckage of homes, but also of trust. Grace's resentment reached a breaking point, and in the heat of an explosive argument that night, the depth of both their frustrations spilled over. In that charged moment, Mia realized she had to summon every ounce of courage, not just for herself, but for Grace and their fragile bond. With the storm outside now fading, the true tempest brewed within. Could she bridge the chasm between her dreams and her daughter's needs? In an uncertain world that felt raw and ready to break, only time would tell if the ties of family and the spirit of resilience could withstand it all. Mia stood in front of the mirror, taking a deep breath as she caught her reflection. The bags under her eyes told a story of sleepless nights and worries that piled high, but the spark of determination was starting to ignite. She had to find a way to mend the rift between her and Grace. The words they had exchanged in anger echoed painfully in her mind. It was crazy how one moment could turn years of love into doubt and fear. "Mom, I need you," Grace had said, the desperation in her voice slicing through Mia's heart like a knife. Mia felt that desperation too. She was aware that in trying to help the community, she had unintentionally pushed her own daughter away. The realization sank in heavily. Her ambitions needed to encompass her daughter's needs, not overshadow them. The next morning, with the sun peeking through the clouds, Mia gathered her courage. She needed to re-establish that friendship they once had, the one that made them a team. She found Grace in the kitchen, scrolling through her phone, indifferent to the smell of breakfast wafting through the room. "Hey, can we talk?" Mia cleared her throat, launching into uncertain territory. Grace looked up, her expression a mix of reluctance and curiosity. About what? About us, about everything. Mia approached carefully, her heart pounding. I want to hear how you really feel. Grace's face hardened. You already know. You're too busy to know me now. I'm here, Grace. I'll always be here. But I've been so focused on trying to make an impact that I lost sight of home. Her voice softened, vulnerability spilling out like an unguarded moment. You are my first priority. Silence filled the kitchen. Mia could feel the weight of her daughter's hurt, but also the flicker of something else, cautious hope. Grace dropped her gaze, biting her lip. Mom, it's just, you're changing, and I don't know how to keep up. Mia stepped closer, wanting to bridge the space between them. We can change together. Let us figure it out as a team. I want to be there for you while I chase my dreams, too. Grace finally met her eyes, the tension easing just a little. You mean it? Absolutely. Let us start fresh together. A tentative smile crossed Grace's lips. You promise you won't leave me behind? I promise. Grace took a breath that seemed to carry a weight of its own, a tentative truce in the air. The storm of their previous days felt as though it had passed, leaving behind a horizon that looked a little brighter. From that moment, they made small promises, attending school events together, cooking dinner as a shared activity, and talking each night about their days. They were rebuilding, layer by layer. But just as they were finding their rhythm, a call from Jack shook Mia's world again. He invited her to a community planning meeting for the recovery efforts after the floods, urging her to take a more active role. Mia felt a familiar tingle of excitement but feared it might reignite old resentments with Grace. Are you going to be okay with this? Mia asked, sensing the glimmer of uncertainty in Grace's eyes. I don't know, Grace replied softly. Mia squeezed her shoulder gently. We'll navigate this, I promise. It's a new chapter for both of us. The evening air filled with hope, but Mia felt the unease swirl in her stomach. Could she truly balance both worlds, or would her ambitions push Grace away once again? As the meeting approached, Mia wrestled with the thought of her daughter's reaction versus her own dreams. She could feel the stakes rising, and just like the skies before a storm, uncertainty loomed. Would she find a way to lead while keeping her family intact? The answer felt just out of reach, but one thing was clear: this was only the beginning. Mia paced the floor of her small living room, her mind racing as she thought about the meeting. She glanced at the clock, the hands ticking away as the afternoon light poured in through the window, casting long shadows. Grace was upstairs, lost in her own world. Mia was grateful for their tentative truce, but the weight of the upcoming meeting pressed down heavily on her shoulders. What would Jack expect from her? The last meeting had been a whirlwind of ideas, plans, and teamwork. Mia had felt invigorated among so many passionate voices, yet she could hear Grace's words in her head, "You're too busy." The balance between her role as a mother and her desire to effect real change in the community was increasingly challenging. Suddenly, her phone buzzed, breaking the silence. It was a reminder about the meeting. Nerves twisted in her stomach as she read the details again. A community effort post-flood meant involving everyone, but would it entwine her and Grace in ways that healed or hurt? Mom! Grace's voice broke through her thoughts. Can we try that new recipe for dinner tonight? Mia smiled, her heart easing at the mention of shared time again. Of course. Let us make it our project, she called back. Their cooking sessions had become a lifeline, a way to reconnect without the pressures of heavy conversations. A few moments later, Grace bounded down the stairs, her phone now in her pocket. What are we cooking? Are we making that pasta dish with the pesto? Exactly that. Let us go crazy with it. We can add mushrooms, too. Grace nodded, and as they moved to the kitchen together, Mia made a point to focus fully on her daughter. They chopped vegetables and stirred sauces, sharing laughter and little anecdotes. Each moment felt like a brick being laid in the path toward rebuilding their relationship. Yet amid this joyful cooking escapade, Mia's mind drifted back to Jack's message. What if he pushed her to take on more responsibilities? Would she have to choose between her passion and Grace again? The thought prickled at her, but each time Grace looked over, a smile bringing light to her face, Mia reminded herself why she had to try. As dinner cooked, the aroma filling their home, Mia caught a glimpse of Grace staring at her phone again, the excitement fading. "You all right?" Grace shrugged. "Yeah, it's just. I have this assignment due soon. I'm stressed." Mia knew this was a moment of honesty that could shift their evening. "Hey, how about this? After dinner, we can sit together and tackle it. No distraction. Just us." Grace's eyes softened. "You'd really do that?" "Absolutely. We're a team. Remember?" Grace smiled, a genuine light breaking through her earlier stress. Their laughter filled the kitchen, but a nagging thought tugged at Mia's mind. Could she keep navigating both parts of her life without losing her footing? Later that evening, as they tackled homework together, Grace's laughter echoed down the hall. Mia felt a warmth spread through her, a reminder of the tight bond they were rebuilding. But as she glanced at the clock again, memories of Jack's words surfaced, igniting another wave of anxiety. The moment they finished their study session, Grace said, "I'm feeling better now. Thanks for being here, Mom." "Really? Anytime, sweetheart." But before the relief could fully settle, another message from Jack pinged on her phone. There it was, a reminder of the community meeting, along with a new agenda item labeled Mia's role. Heart racing, Mia opened it, her mind swirling with possibilities of what lay ahead. What she didn't expect, as she read the upcoming plans, was the realization that she might have to take a leadership position. Could this be what she truly wanted? Could Grace stand by her through it all? The question hung in the air, waiting to plunge Mia back into uncertainty. She glanced at Grace, who was now lost in a book nearby, and wondered if she could find the right path without losing her daughter again. It was clear the stakes were rising, and Mia felt the heaviness settle in once more. Would she be able to carry both responsibilities and balance her ambitions with her daughter's trust, or was she setting herself up for another heartbreaking failure? Mia sat on the edge of her bed, the glow from her phone illuminating her worried face. The words from Jack's message replayed in her mind, a storm of emotions swirling around her. Mia's role. What did that even mean? She had always been a helper, always willing to lend her voice to a cause. But being a leader? The very thought sent tremors of doubt through her. What did leadership even look like? She sighed, remembering the confident way Jack had articulated his vision, how he rallied people around him. She wished she could channel that energy. But she was different. She was a mother first, a friend, and above all, a protector of Grace. The stakes felt impossibly high. "Mom! Dinner's ready." Grace's voice echoed down the hallway, jarring Mia from her thoughts. Instinctively, she tucked her phone away, hiding the turmoil inside. She forced a smile as she walked, fingers brushing against the doorframe to steady herself. In the dining room, the table was set with the pasta they had prepared earlier. The colorful plate gleamed under the soft light, but Mia could hardly focus on the food. She watched Grace dig in, the way her daughter twirled the noodles around her fork, completely lost in the flavors. It warmed Mia's heart, yet a heaviness still clung to her chest. "Are you okay, Mom?" Grace paused mid-bite, her eyes wide with concern. "Yeah, just tired from working all day," Mia replied, hoping to divert the conversation. But Grace was perceptive, her frown deepening. "Mom, you've been saying that a lot lately." Grace pushed her plate aside, shifting her focus entirely on Mia. "It's not just the work, is it?" Mia felt the weight of her daughter's gaze. "It's complicated. There's a meeting coming up, and I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed." Grace leaned closer, her youthful features softening. "What's the meeting about?" Mia hesitated, searching for the right words. "It's about rebuilding our community after the flood." I might have a bigger role in it this time and I'm scared I won't be good enough. For a moment, silence filled the air, thick with unspoken fears. Then Grace reached out, placing her small hand over Mia's. You'll be great, Mom. Everyone thinks you're amazing. Mia swallowed against the knot in her throat. But what if I fail? What if I can't juggle it all? You're not alone. You know that, right? Grace's voice was steady, a sound of growing confidence. You've been balancing everything so well. You can do this. Mia's heart fluttered with warmth. Grace's faith in her was a lifeline, but the worry bubbled hot in her chest. It's a lot, Grace. I don't want to let you down again. Understanding glimmered in Grace's eyes. You won, Mom. We're a team, remember? You don't have to do it all by yourself. Her daughter's words hung in the air, resonating deeply within Mia. Maybe Grace was right. Maybe she didn't have to choose between her roles but could weave them together. Yet, the fear of failing still loomed. When dinner ended, Mia helped Grace clean up. Washing dishes became a mundane act filled with layers of unspoken connection. As Grace headed upstairs, Mia turned back to her phone, Jack's message still glowing ominously on the screen. Gritting her teeth, she knew she had to respond. With trembling fingers, she tapped out a message. I'm in. Let us meet tomorrow. Just as she hit send, her heart raced not with fear but excitement mixing with anxiety. Could this be a turning point? The sound of laughter from upstairs pulled her back. Grace and her friends had started a movie, their giggles drifting through the air, a soothing reminder of what was at stake. But as she stared out the window, she couldn't shake the growing realization that to truly embrace this opportunity, she had to confront deeper fears. Was she ready to step fully into her new role, to face whatever lay ahead? The decision loomed, heavy yet thrilling. There was no turning back now. And as the laughter faded, a question arose deep in Mia's heart. Would her leap of faith bridge the gap between her ambitions and the trust of her daughter? As the first rays of sunlight crept through the curtains, Mia awoke with a mix of anticipation and dread swirling in her chest. Today felt different, powerful, yet frightening. She rolled out of bed, the message from Jack playing on repeat in her mind, a constant echo pulling her into a world she longed to belong to but feared entirely. In the kitchen, the scent of brewed coffee filled the air, a small comfort. Grace would still be asleep, wrapped in dreams, and for a moment, Mia allowed herself the luxury of silence. Standing by the window, she let her gaze wander over the neighborhood waking up. Children would soon be biking to school, and neighborly chatter would fill the streets. The community was slowly rebuilding, and she would soon join them more prominently. What did being a leader mean? She pondered again as she poured herself a cup of coffee. Being a voice, a guide, connecting lives. And yet, fear curled in her gut like smoke, making her feel small. Each step toward that first meeting felt heavy, as though she were carrying the weight of the world. Could that weight lift? Could she transform her doubt into something stronger? Her phone buzzed on the table, breaking her reverie. It was a reminder from Jack about the meeting later that day, and with it came a flurry of emotions. She remembered the encouraging words from Grace. What would her daughter think if she gave in to fear? Mia took a deep breath and texted back quickly, looking forward to it. It felt like a small victory, a step toward embracing what lay ahead. Mia busied herself with breakfast, flipping pancakes as the mundane task eased her nerves. She pictured Grace bound to her room, giggling with friends, so full of life. That imagery reminded her that being a leader didn't have to mean losing herself as a mother. It could be drawing from both roles, using her passion for family and community to push her forward. Just as she created a home, she could help build a community. After a series of seemingly endless moments, the clock ticked agonizingly close to the meeting time. As Mia fixed her hair in front of the mirror, she caught a glimpse of hesitation in her own eyes. You can do this, she whispered to herself. But moments later, doubt crept in yet again. What if everyone sees through me? What if they think I'm unqualified? It was then that she recalled Grace's words. You don't have to do it all by yourself. Maybe being a leader was about recognizing the collaborative strength in community. Just as she nurtured Grace's aspirations, she could inspire and be inspired by others. The drive to the community center felt longer than usual. The streets blurred despite the morning bustle. Yet, under it all, there was something rising, a quiet fire fueled by an unyielding wish to ignite change. Upon arrival, Mia stepped out into the cool air, the sounds of people gathering echoing from inside. The energy was vibrant, alive. Jack stood at the entrance, his presence a steadying force. When he noticed her, he waved with an easy smile, but Mia could see the seriousness glinting in his eyes, the urgency of the moment. As she approached him, a group of faces turned, eyes indicative of expectation. They recognized her from the community work she had done, but today would be different. Today, she would have to speak up, to take ownership of her voice. Mia stood taller, grounding herself. This was about more than leadership, it was about connection, vision, and the hope of rebuilding something meaningful. But as she took a deep breath, ready to step into the hall, a nagging question whispered through her thoughts. What would she do when the first hard question came her way? And as she crossed the threshold into the meeting room, a thought flashed through her mind: was she truly ready for the challenges ahead? The room buzzed with chatter as Mia walked in, her heart drumming loudly in her ears. The community members formed a semicircle, a blend of familiar faces and new ones, all waiting for her to take the lead. Jack nodded encouragingly from the back, and Mia could feel his belief in her pressing against her anxiety. Welcome, everyone, she began, voice steadier than she felt. It was time to breathe life into her thoughts, to connect with these people who had shown up, eager for change just like her. I know we're all feeling the weight of what has been lost in our community. But today, we stand here not just to rebuild but to redefine who we can be together. A few heads nodded, lips lifted slightly in tentative smiles. The warmth of their acceptance seeped into her, softening her fear. Let us share ideas, she continued. What do we envision for our neighborhood? What changes do we want to see? Hands shot up almost immediately. The first to speak was an older man, his voice carrying authority. We need a community garden. Something that grows life and brings people together. Mia felt a rush of excitement. Absolutely. A place where we can cultivate not just vegetables but friendships too. A ripple of agreement flowed through the room. The ideas kept coming: youth programs, family events, help for the elderly. Each suggestion felt like a brick being laid in the foundation of something powerful, but just as the energy peaked, a voice rose from the back, a skeptical tone cutting through the camaraderie. That sounds nice, but how will we fund it? We can't just wish for it. Mia's stomach dropped. The reality of their financial struggles crashed back, a stark reminder of the barriers they faced. But instead of shrinking under scrutiny, strength surged within her, fueled by the voices of those who had believed in her just moments before. Great question, she replied, locking eyes with the speaker to show she valued his concern. Let us look into grants, local business sponsorships, and even crowdfunding. We can reach out to the residents for contributions, both financial and in kind. Let us pool our resources and ideas. A murmur of intrigue spread across the group. They wanted solutions, not just ideas. She could feel the momentum shifting, the air thickening with determination instead of doubt. After that pivotal moment, the discussion flowed seamlessly. Mia encouraged back and forth exchanges among the attendees, allowing their voices to meld into a collective vision. They laughed, shared memories of the neighborhood, and a sense of unity enveloped the room. As the meeting drew to a close, Mia felt lighter, the previous weight of anxiety replaced with hope. She had started to realize that being a leader wasn't about having all the answers. It was about guiding others to find theirs, igniting passions within her community. Just as she was about to wrap things up, she caught sight of Grace peering through the doorway, curious and perhaps worried. Mia's heart swelled. She motioned for her daughter to join, eager for her to see this unfolding connection. The warmth of her daughter's smile cut through the lingering concerns, and for the first time that morning, Mia felt a flicker of clarity. Yes, she was ready. Not just for herself, but for Grace and everyone in their community. But as they stood together, voices rising in excitement around them, a shadow of a doubt lingered in Mia's mind. Was today just the beginning of something greater, or would the challenges ahead prove too formidable? The meeting was a start, but what awaited them outside those walls? Would she be able to tackle the fears that tied her down, or would they always hold her back? As doubts flickered in and out, her heart raced with both uncertainty and determination, ready for the next step. The next day, the sun rose bright and promising, yet Mia felt the familiar knots in her stomach. She had awakened earlier than usual, driven by an urge to put her plans into action. Today was the day for the first community outreach meeting, and it buzzed in her thoughts like a swarm of bees. She could almost feel the pulse of possibility thrumming around her. Grace's laughter echoed from the kitchen, the scent of pancakes wafting in the air. As Mia poured herself a cup of coffee, she reflected on the conversations from yesterday, still holding the warmth of their enthusiasm close. But lingering questions clouded her mind. How would they actually gather funds? Would people really rally behind their ideas? "Mama, can we plant flowers in the garden?" Grace's voice pulled her back. "Yes, sweet girl," she replied, smiling as she joined her daughter at the table. "We'll plant flowers and vegetables, and we'll make it beautiful together." Grace beamed, all wide eyes and bright hopes. Recognizing her daughter's excitement fueled Mia's determination. She wanted Grace to grow up in a place filled with joy, a place that thrived, not just survived. After breakfast, Mia set out to the community center, her heart pounding with each step. The space was lively with familiar faces setting up for the meeting. Tables were arranged for casual discussions, the walls adorned with colorful drawings from children, murals depicting the heartbeat of their neighborhood. This was their home. But could they really make it feel whole again? As the hour approached, people trickled in, some optimistic, some hesitant. Mia mingled, sharing smiles and warm greetings. She spotted Jack in the crowd, calm yet ready to lend his support. Taking a deep breath, she gathered everyone together. "Today, we're here to dive into the nitty-gritty details," Mia began, feeling the energy shift as she looked around at anxious faces. "We can talk about our dreams, but we've got to think about how we can make them happen." The atmosphere thickened as they broke into smaller groups, brainstorming proposals and exploring potential partnerships with local businesses. Mia felt herself being pulled between discussions, her heart swelling at the passion emanating from every corner. Ideas about community events, workshops, and even a neighborhood potluck blossomed. However, as excitement floated in the air, the weight of reality began pressing down again. "We're up against a tight budget," came the familiar skeptical voice from yesterday, the man from the back of the room. "Are we just wasting our time?" Mia stopped, and for a moment, the world felt still. She could feel hope teetering on a cliff of uncertainty. Instead of backing down, she stepped forward. "What if we don't see this as a burden but as a challenge? A chance to come together, to pool our talents, our resources?" A heavy silence followed her statement, and then one voice piped up, "We could organize a fundraiser." "Yes!" Mia exclaimed, heart racing at the notion. "We could showcase local artists, musicians. Let us shine a light on what we have to offer." The room buzzed again, and gradually the somber clouds lifted. Laughter erupted, and they began throwing around more ideas, building plans. The enthusiasm that filled the room ignited a sense of hope, and Mia couldn't help but feel a renewed vigor. Yet, even amid the excitement, Mia couldn't shake off that nagging thought. Beneath the surface of this newfound unity, were they ready to face the unexpected hurdles that would surely arise? What if their dreams collided with harsh realities they couldn't foresee? As the meeting wrapped up, Mia glanced at Grace, the little girl's face bright with anticipation. She had embraced this journey alongside her, and the thought filled Mia with both pride and apprehension. They had ignited a spark, but as Mia prepared to leave, a sudden sense of unease washed over her. What would happen when the first obstacle arrived? Would their fragile hopes withstand the pressure? In that moment, standing on the edge of possibility, she silently vowed to not just take a step, but to leap into the unknown, into the potential, into everything that awaited. But in making that commitment, could she truly brave the storm that lay ahead? Mia walked home, the sun casting warm rays, but something in her heart felt heavy. The laughter from the meeting lingered, but doubt nipped at the edges of her joy. She turned the key in the door, welcoming the familiar sounds of home, the soft hum of Grace's toys scattered across the living room and the gentle creak of the old floorboards. "Did you plant the flowers yet, Mama?" Grace asked, peering curiously from the couch. "Not yet, but we will soon," Mia replied, forcing a smile despite the unease swirling in her chest. Grace twirled around, her energy uncontainable. "Can we do it now? I want to make the garden pretty." Mia paused, her mind racing. "First, let us have a snack, okay? Then we can work together." After a quick snack, they ventured outside. Mia picked up a trowel and handed it to Grace, who clutched it like a treasure. "You know, Grace, making something beautiful takes time and patience," she said. "Just like our dreams for the community." Grace nodded seriously, her little face scrunching in concentration, digging small holes in the dirt. Watching her daughter, Mia felt a flicker of inspiration. The youth were not just the future but part of the present movement. She envisioned kids laughing together, planting seeds both in the garden and the community. As they worked, Mia plotted the fundraiser in her mind. Excitement began to bloom anew. Would local businesses support them? What if they reached out to the schools to include students? "I want to sing at the fundraiser," Grace declared suddenly, her voice bright like the flowers they were planting. "Really?" Mia responded, her heart swelling. "That would be amazing. You could spread joy while supporting our community." But just then, Mia's phone buzzed in her pocket. She fished it out and saw a message from Jack. "We need to talk about the budget cuts. Can we meet tomorrow?" A line formed between Mia's brows. Was this just another obstacle? Panic washed over her, twisting in her gut. The joy she felt planting with Grace dimmed, replaced by a fear she struggled to dismiss. "Are you going to sing at the fundraiser, Mama?" Grace asked, pulling her out of her thoughts. Maybe Mia hesitated. She wanted to leap into this new direction, but doubt clung to her like a shadow. Over the next few days, Mia worked tirelessly to organize the event. She visited local businesses, some with closed doors and others with hopeful smiles. Many were willing to contribute or display flyers. The townsfolk slowly caught the vision, a chance to come together for something bigger than themselves, but the looming meeting with Jack gnawed at her mind. What were these budget cuts really about? How would they chase their dreams in the face of hard facts? She began to question whether this was enough to support what they were building, whether their efforts could withstand the reality of shrinking funds. The night of the fundraiser approached like an approaching storm. Mia stood before a stack of papers and plans, trying to prepare herself emotionally and mentally. Would fear of failure crush this enthusiasm, or could they rise above it? When the evening of the fundraiser finally arrived, lights twinkled, and laughter danced in the air. As she scanned the crowd, she took a deep breath, remembering the warmth and support that started this whole journey. Then Jack pushed through the crowd, his expression unreadable. As he reached her, Mia's heart began to race. "Mia, we need to talk," he said, an urgency in his voice. "What is going on?" "I found something you need to know," and just like that, her entire world began to tilt on its axis. Could the truth Jack was about to reveal shake everything they had built so far? As Mia looked around at the vibrant community gathered, she understood one thing for sure: this was just the beginning, and she was ready to fight for every step, every note, and every flower in their garden. Mia's heart raced in her chest as Jack's statement echoed in her mind. The vibrant atmosphere of the fundraiser faded into the background. She wanted to enjoy the laughter, the dancing lights, but fear bubbled up like a shaken soda bottle. "What do you mean?" she demanded, her voice coming out sharper than intended. She could feel Grace's small hand grip hers tighter, sensing her mother's rising anxiety. Jack glanced at the crowd, his brow furrowing. Let us step outside for a moment. It's better if we talk there. Mia nodded, her stomach twisting into knots as they moved through the throngs of happy faces. She caught snippets of conversation, people planning to bid on handmade crafts, children singing lively songs, and the smell of fresh popcorn wafting through the air. But all of it felt distant and blurred, as if she were looking through a foggy lens. Once outside, the cool night air struck her. She drew in a sharp breath, grounding herself. Jack's eyes were serious, locked onto hers like he was searching for answers. It's about the budget cuts, his voice faltered, just a moment, and then he plunged in. We're facing a severe reduction in funding. The community center might not survive this. The panic Mia had been holding back hit her like a tidal wave. But we just started this fundraiser, everything. How can this be happening? I found out that their SA proposal to allocate funds to more profitable projects. There are whispers that the youth programs are a low priority. Jack shifted uncomfortably, glancing back toward the celebration. They're trying to cut what they deem unnecessary. Her mind spun. All their hard work, the laughter, the plans, it felt like it was all on the verge of crumbling. But what about the kids? What about Grace? Mia's voice broke. Jack searched her face for something, a scrap of hope perhaps. Mia, I think we can fight this. We need to rally the community. But we have to act quickly. This could be voted on in the next few weeks. Mia stood frozen on the steps, grappling with overwhelm. She looked into Jack's eyes and saw determination. We can't just let this happen. These kids need a place to grow. They need hope, their dreams matter. Exactly. He said, his excitement building just as hers had done days ago when the fundraiser idea sparked in her mind. You have the support of so many people here tonight. If we can channel that energy, we might stand a chance. You need to speak. Share your vision. Mia swallowed hard. Speaking up had always been hard for her. But not anymore. The weight of responsibility pushed her forward. She imagined Grace, her friends, all the children who played in that community center, faces bright with laughter and love. Okay, she agreed, her voice steady now. Let's do it. I'll talk to everyone. Jack's expression softened, and gratitude washed over his face. I know it's daunting, but you can do this. You have that gift, that spark. You inspire people, Mia. Her heart swelled at his words, igniting a fire within. Thank you, Jack. Really. Let us get back in there. As they re-entered the building, the warmth enveloped her again. Laughter filled her ears, and the vibrant atmosphere sparked something deep inside. She spotted Grace, twirling like a little whirlwind, blissful and oblivious. Taking a deep breath, Mia stepped to the edge of the small stage, her heart pounding. Excuse me, everyone. She called out, her voice cutting through the noise. All eyes turned toward her. As Mia opened her mouth to speak, she felt the undeniable truth sink in. Everything they had built, everything they fought for, could be at stake. But this was more than a battle to save a center. It was a chance to ignite their community's spirit. What she didn't expect was how deeply her words could resonate. With that flicker of determination ignited, she began to share her heart, knowing the stakes had never been higher. What would happen when the echoes of her voice met the hopes of her community? Mia stood on that stage, heart pounding, eyes scanning the crowd before her. She felt the weight of their hopes, their stories, and she couldn't let them down. Thank you all for being here tonight. Her voice rang clear, cutting through the murmur of excitement. She glanced at Grace, who waved with wide eyes, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing behind the scenes. Mia took a deep breath, grounding herself in the moment. When I first stepped into this community, I felt like just another gate attendant, lost among the bustle of life. But you, everyone here, you made me realize something. Together, we have the power to build something beautiful. The room quieted, energy shifting. She cleared her throat, forging ahead. Our community center is more than just a building. It's where our kids laugh, learn, and grow. It's the heart of our neighborhood. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd, and Mia pressed on. But that heart is at risk. Funding cuts threaten everything we've worked for. Our dreams, our children's dreams, are worth fighting for. She heard a voice chirp from the back. We're with you, Mia. It was Jack, and his support sparked extra courage in her heart. I know times are tough, she continued, raising her arms to encompass the room. But we cannot allow ourselves to be silenced. We are the builders of our futures. If we stand together, children, parents, neighbors, we can bring this community to life. Applause erupted, and Mia felt warmth flood her with hope. The energy felt electric, thrumming like the heart of a phoenix eager to rise from the ashes. But we need a plan, she stated firmly. We can host events, show how much we care about our kids, and how invaluable this center is. Imagine a festival where our young musicians perform, where families gather to celebrate what makes our community unique. The cheers grew louder, and Mia beamed with pride. She could see Grace's eyes lighting up, her daughter absorbing every word. And let's not stop there, Mia declared passionately. Let us showcase local businesses, unite our skills and resources, and remind the powers that be that we are not just a neighborhood, we are a family. As she looked around, she spotted skeptics transforming into faces illuminated by hope. She realized this was more than just her voice, it was their collective voice, rising up together. Will you stand with me? Will you join me in this fight? Yes. The crowd shouted back, a chorus of unwavering solidarity. A thrill surged through Mia. It didn't just feel like a speech, it felt like a movement. What started as fear transformed into a roaring determination to protect their future. After the meeting, conversations buzzed like bees. They bonded over ideas, pooling resources and talents. Mia connected with several local business owners who felt inspired to contribute, and Grace, ever eager, insisted on designing posters for the upcoming events. Weeks went by, filled with laughter and teamwork. They organized bake sales, concerts, and art shows, each event more successful than the last. Mia was no longer just a gate attendant, she was a leader, a community builder, and more importantly, she was present for Grace, attending every event together, reinforcing their bond. Then came the pivotal meeting with the city council. Mia stood the night before, anxiety twisting her stomach. Would they listen? Could this dream carry weight? Grace approached, holding a drawing, one of their garden blooming with sunshine and laughter. This is for you, Mom. You're the best flower I know. Tears pricked at Mia's eyes. Thank you, sweet girl. We're doing this together, remember? Yes. Grace beamed, her faith igniting Mia's resolve. The next day, nervous energy filled the council chamber. Mia clasped her hands together, heart racing but determined. She shared their story, the successes, and the undeniable need for a supportive hub for everyone. With every heartfelt word, she watched the council members lean in, listening intently, nodding, mouths twitching in approval. Just as she finished, she took a deep breath and said, "Every child deserves the chance to dream. Our community is worth saving. When we stand together, we're unstoppable." Jack's words echoed in her mind, "You inspire people, Mia." It happened. A round of applause erupted, transforming her doubt into an overwhelming wave of triumph. Days turned into weeks, and the council voted to reinstate some funding. The center would survive. Standing in front of the community members during a celebration party, Mia felt the weight of disbelief lift off her shoulders. We did this together. Your energy, your hope, it made the difference, she said, her voice raw yet buoyant. As laughter erupted and families gathered, Grace clutched Mia's hand tightly, her little face glowing. You're a hero, Mom. She beamed. Mia knelt down, meeting her daughter's eyes. No, honey. We're heroes together. In that moment, amidst the joyful chaos and confirming smiles, Mia knew with every fiber of her being that this victory was not just hers. It was the symphony of every voice uniting to uplift their community. They were all soaring higher than she'd ever dreamed. And as they danced together under colorful lights, future dreams blossoming before them, a newfound hope unfolded, a reminder that together, they could face any storm that life brought their way. Now is the moment to make a change in your own life. Don't just sit back. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the powerful stories that could inspire your next leap. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let us know if these transformations mean as much to you as they do to us. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending. How do you join your community in positive ways? And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to show support for the channel through every action. Don't wait not even one more second to share.